This is a deadly game. The backs of 15 men are numbered, and at this moment, the countdown begins from 120 seconds. The black door slowly opens, revealing a pile of zombies inside, mouths gaping, rushing towards their prey, tearing it apart. The 15 men scatter in panic, knowing full well that these zombies are not ordinary. They are people tied together with steel wires by the organizers to entertain the audience. Some zombies break free, catching sight of the food. One of them runs like a hound, pouncing and bringing down a man. Number 52, desperate to survive, pushes his friend directly into the horde of zombies, but ultimately, he himself doesn't escape. Number 61 is so afraid that his legs tremble in helplessness, while the man beside number 41 is also caught by the zombies, becoming their meal. The most tragic is number 38, constantly retreating backward, only to fall into the arms of the collective horde of zombies. In the blink of an eye, the onlookers, thrilled, cheer and shout. The countdown has ended. The safe cage is opened, and the survivors crazily rush towards it, leaving only 10 people remaining. Before they can regain their composure, the organizers offer them instant noodles as a reward, tossing 4 packs of kimchi shrimp noodles. The group of survivors begins to frantically compete for them. The second round of the game will start again in an hour. So this place is the Korean peninsula. 4 years ago, the zombies in Busan spread throughout South Korea, and the people began to evacuate. Officer Xiao Tuan drove his sister's family to the ship to leave South Korea. At this moment, a passerby's car broke down, asking Xiao Tuan for help, only to take their child. Xiao Tuan refused and drove away immediately. They successfully boarded the ship, and Xiao Tuan arranged things for his sister and her child. Suddenly, someone exhibited strange behavior and stood up. This person seemed to be dancing hip-hop, using their bare hands to push themselves up. It turned out that someone infected had infiltrated the area. Chaos erupted in the train compartment in an instant. When Xiao Tuan returned, blood was everywhere. All the passengers had been bitten. When Xiao Tuan tried to take his sister away, she held her bitten child tightly and refused to leave. At this moment, a zombie rushed in, and Xiao Tuan desperately fired his gun, killing 3 or 4 of them, but his sister still refused to leave. Xiao Tuan cried out and ran outside, slamming the door shut. At that moment, his brother-in-law returned. Seeing his wife being overwhelmed by a horde of zombies, the two of them burst into tears. 4 years later, Tiu Tuan and his brother-in-law wandered to Hong Kong. In the immediate future, the zombie situation had spread throughout the Korean peninsula, and other countries were temporarily safe. One day the boss of the gangsters assigned a mission to Tiu Tuan and his brother-in-law to return to the peninsula to find a car carrying money. Once found, just drive it to the harbor. Each person will receive $2.5 million. Because he was always despised by the people here, Tiu Tuan decided to take a risk, and if he got the money, he would start a new life. So Tiu Tuan and his brother-in-law, along with 2 other Koreans, formed a search team. The canoe drove close to the peninsula. Then the 4 people continued to climb a small boat to continue. The zombies' attributes are only sensitive to light and sound, so taking action at night will be quite safe. The world occupied by zombies is full of death, gloomy and cold, and on the ground are written in large letters, "God has abandoned us." They repaired a car, drove in the middle of the city, looking for the other car. Tiu Tuan looked everywhere bewildered. Suddenly a strange sound came from behind. At this time the moonlight shone in front. Oh my god, the glass room was full of zombies, so densely packed. The 4 people gradually went deeper to search, and indeed found the car that boss said. Opening the trunk of the car, it was full of dollars. The brother-in-law was about to change places with the old driver, who knew the driver was a zombie, threatening the brother-in-law to touch the car horn. This time it was good. Everyone could hear it within a 2 kilometers range. Tiu Tuan saved his brother and immediately shot and killed the driver. Also at this time, a large number of zombies rushed forward. Tiu Tuan quickly sniped, protecting everyone to retreat. After shooting down a few dozen animals, they drove away quickly. Returning to the port, as long as you reach the port, the mission is considered complete. At this time, suddenly there were flares, and the surrounding zombies were all led here. Both of their cars had an accident. Tiu Tuan was blown away. Zombies rushed in. The female teammate received the full lunchbox. The brother-in-law was surrounded by zombies and quickly hid in the trunk of the car to return money. Tiu Tuan wielded a sniper rifle very quickly. After shooting a few animals, he was suddenly attacked by zombies and knocked him down. Tiu Tuan flew it far away, then shot them down, intending to fire again, but the bullets were gone. There were constantly zombies coming. Tiu Tuan had no choice but to kill the enemy with his bare hands. At this last moment, suddenly an off-road vehicle stopped in front of him. Driving was a young girl who told him to quickly get in the car. Tiu Tuan was a bit bewildered, but there were still humans in the zombie citadel. After getting in the car, he discovered that next to the seat was a baby. They were sisters, named Dai Yu Yu and Tiu Yu Yu. The car raced through the city. Too terrible. Dai Yu Yu drives better than a professional racer. Just turn the steering wheel and the car will move. Just hit straight and the car car will accelerate, step on the accelerator and you will lose. See how to zigzag, then how to attack zombies by double-crossing the car. Zombies were crashed all over the road. When entering a corner, it was even more amazing, retracting the car's mirrors on both sides, sparks flying out like fireworks. When the car stopped, Tu Tuan sitting in the back passed out. At this time, there are a large number of zombies blocking the way ahead. It's Tu U's turn to act. The glowing toy car emitted music and raced towards the zombies. They immediately chased after the car. Dai Yu started the car and continued on. Elsewhere, the brother-in-law is not so lucky right now. He hides in the trunk of the car, a bunch of zombies surrounding him outside. At this time, a glowing advertising vehicle appeared, taking zombies around the city to see the lights. A while later, a group of thugs drove to check. They were the lucky survivors of the Korean peninsula led by the Little King and the Great King. They discovered that the fat man was still alive. Tu Vong immediately knocked him unconscious, let the fat guy pick up the boxed lunch, and then drove the truck back to his residence. Opening the trunk, they discovered their brother-in-law. Tu Vong ordered him to be taken to the entertainment area for food. Dai Vong's crippled Tam Fuck discovered that the truck was full of money and immediately went to inform Dai Vong. Dai Vong went to check and discovered the walkie-talkie that his brother-in-law had left behind. Suddenly the phone rang. When the king answered the phone, he learned that he only needed to drive the car to the port to leave the Korean peninsula and receive a worthy remuneration. The Great King silently decided that this was the best opportunity to leave here. At this time, the brother-in-law was stripped of his clothes, sprayed on number 61 and thrown into the container, hence the scene at the beginning of the video. On the other side, Tu Tuan was taken to a shelter by a little girl. The four of them live here. They include an old veteran who likes to research science and technology, and also the mother of Dai Yu and Tu Yu. At this time, Tu Tuan realized that the mother of the two children was the person who asked for help from him 4 years ago. Tu Tuan told everyone about this mission. The mother decided to help him find the truck, then they would leave together. This place. She guessed that the car had been taken by those thugs, and this 4-year veteran always used a wireless phone to call for help. He said there was a lieutenant named Chan who had recently come to save them, but the mother didn't believe it. In the territory of the gang, Dai Vong decided to escape alone, liberally distributing a lot of food to his subordinates, wanting them to celebrate all night long. With only 2 people left guarding the door, the zombie army was approaching their residence. However, they had no idea why Dai Vong was being so generous, as he typically calculated every move carefully. This made Tu Vong suspicious, realizing that the two of them were not compatible. Tu Vong went to Dai Vong's room and almost found the walkie-talkie. Dai Vong made an excuse that he wanted to talk to his buddy for 30 minutes, and Tu Vong left. After dark, the mother and Tu Tuan broke into the gang's stronghold and found the truck. The gang leader arrived, and after questioning, they found out that the walkie-talkie was in Dai Vong's possession, and the brother-in-law was still alive. Tu Tuan immediately went to rescue the brother-in-law. Meanwhile, Dai Vong went to find the gang leader, and the mother forced him to hand over the walkie-talkie. Dai Vong pulled out his gun and shot, but the mother started the engine and knocked out Dai Vong, taking the walkie-talkie from him. When Dai Vong woke up in a rage, he shot and killed the gang leader. At the playground, a zombie was about to pounce on the brother-in-law, who had nowhere left to hide. At this critical moment, Tu Tuan appeared in time, shooting and killing the zombie. He set off a smoke bomb, taking the brother-in-law to flee, while the zombies in the playground also ran outside. The zombies rushed towards Tu Tuan, who pushed them away and shot and killed 2 of them, but his gun fell to the ground. The group of thugs chased after them, and Tu Tuan had no choice but to use the zombies as shields. The brother-in-law risked taking the gun, aiming at the thugs and firing, but his shooting skills were too poor to kill anyone. He threw the gun to Tu Tuan, and Tu Vong secretly shot the thugs with bullets, causing the brother-in-law to fall in front of Tu Tuan. Tu Tuan lost his last loved one and, filled with anger, rushed forward with the gun and killed 6 of them. At this moment, Tu Vong aimed to shoot, ready to finish them off. Just then, at the critical moment, the mother drove through, piercing into the midst. Tu Tuan looked at his brother-in-law one last time, suppressing his emotions to leave. As they stepped outside, they immediately encountered a horde of zombies on the road. With hundreds of zombies in front of them, the truck was unable to move any further. The zombies kept increasing, eventually storming into the driver's seat. Tu Tuan and the woman were soon overwhelmed. Suddenly, a beam of light appeared, and Dai Yu arrived to rescue them. The light attracted most of the zombies, and the mother accelerated forward, while the veteran ignited a firework, creating a diversion that separated the zombies. Tu Vong chased after them, constantly igniting flares, with a car swiftly approaching. The mother and Dai Yu squeezed the car into the gap, utilizing the pile of cars in front to successfully deal with it. Tu Vong, infuriated, ordered them all to be killed. As the enemies grew in number, Dai-U was cornered in an alley. She spotted a group of zombies ahead, swerved around and turned on the headlights. The zombies immediately arose, blocking the gang's path. Dai-U quickly chased after her mother. The light shone on the zombies on the bridge, and they leapt down en masse. Dai-U accelerated across the bridge at the fastest speed, with the thugs in pursuit of the mother. The two cars ran side by side, with a rain of zombies pouring down. The mother took the risk and rammed into it, causing the chasing car to overturn, but the most difficult one to deal with was Tiu Vong, who kept pursuing them relentlessly. Tiu Quan came up with a plan, coincidentally passing through a glasshouse. Tiu Tuan took the gun and started shooting, shattering the glass. Bullets scattered on the glass, waiting for Tiu Tuan to pass through the shattered glass, and the zombies tumbled onto the road. Tiu Vong's car was blocked by Tiu Tuan's, surrounded by thousands of zombies, seemingly reaching the heavens. Tiu Vong's cruel life came to an end, and the mother and Tiu Tuan finally reached the port. A waiting ship was there, and Tiu Wu was ecstatic. At this moment, a car sped in and rammed into the gang's car. It turned out to be Dai Vong driving, who pulled Dai-U out of the car, telling Tiu Tuan and the mother to drop their weapons. The two had no choice but to comply. Cleverly, Tiu Wu used a toy car to divert Dai Vong's attention. Dai-U successfully escaped. At this moment, Dai Vong shot at Tiu Wu, and the veteran soldier jumped out to take the bullet. Dai Vong also shot, injuring the mother's leg. He drove the car straight to the port and laughed triumphantly. Finally, he could leave this land of the undead. The car turned and boarded the waiting ship. The boss's subordinates checked and wondered why they had changed sides. But anyone would do, so he opened fire, never expecting this outcome. Dai Vong laughed. Before he died, he reversed the car, accelerating backward. The car got stuck on the path to the ship, connecting the ship to the land. At this moment, a large number of zombies entered the ship's compartment. The hell on earth was repeated once again, and not a single person survived. Near the port, the wounded veteran finally departed from this world after being hit by the last bullet. At this moment, a helicopter arrived. As it turned out, the old soldier had successfully contacted the lieutenant. With the mother injured, she begged Tiu Tuan to take her child and leave, while she stayed back to hold them off. However, she was surrounded by zombies. She got into the car and bravely honked the horn to attract all the zombies around. Seeing that she was about to become the meal for the zombie horde, she prepared to shoot herself to end it all. In this life or death moment, Tiu Tuan returned, a former coward who had abandoned his family before. For many years, he had felt the gnawing of his conscience, and this time, even if it meant dying, he had to save her. Just as she was about to pull the trigger, she heard her daughter's cry. No, she couldn't leave her family behind. The mother began to shoot the horde of zombies. She jumped out of the car, but she had run out of bullets. She grabbed a gun and fought off the zombies before staggering towards the helicopter. At this moment, Tiu Tuan arrived, providing cover while tossing smoke grenades. The mother clung to the only hope for survival, and finally made it to the helicopter. They embraced each other tightly, and Tiu Tuan and the others successfully boarded the plane, bidding farewell to this place forever turned into zombies. Tiu Tuan, this time, didn't get the money, but he saved the mother and her family, regaining the pride of a soldier. The film ended here, and the film was titled Peninsula. In this movie review session, if anyone has any other movies they want to watch, they can leave the title in the comments. If the movie is good, I will make a review. I've been quite into zombie movies lately, but if they are too scary, I'll pass as well. I'm also quite a coward, hiding and trembling in the zoo, so I'm not that scared of my channel's films. Alright, that's it for today. Remember to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.